Would you love to overcome self-doubt? Do you ever experience low self-belief? If you do, stay with me because I'm going to give you 3 things that you can do right now to literally eradicate that, because it seriously handbrakes your life when you're experiencing the oppressiveness of low self-doubt, low self-belief. It becomes all consuming. But here's what I want you to do. I want to share what you want, why you experience it, what happens when you experience it. I'm going to give you 3 tips to overcome it. My name is Judy V, and I work with entrepreneurially minded people to become financially empowered so they can have the freedom that they deserve. I am deeply passionate about people being empowered because I have a philosophy. If you're not empowered in life, if you're not financially empowered, you cannot be empowered in life. In any area of life that you're not empowered, you'll be overpowered. So back to overcoming self-doubt and low self-belief. Rather than being consumed by it, rather than letting it run you, rather than, in essence, subordinating to this lack of self-belief or this self-doubt, I want you to do something different. I want you to just stop, acknowledge it, and look at it as a feedback mechanism that it's telling you something. It's there to serve you. It's telling you something that you're missing, that you're not looking at, that you're not aware of, you're not consciously aware of. And think about it this way. There's a purpose for it. If you're feeling it, there's a purpose for it. There's a reason for it. Because anything that exists for a reason. If it doesn't, it would be extinct, wouldn't it? It wouldn't be there. So therefore, it serves a purpose. You've got a choice. As I always say, we have a moment-by-moment choice to put our life onto that trajectory and accelerate it at the speed that we would love to accelerate it at. We have a choice. We can either subordinate to that feeling, or we could stop and say, okay, so how is this serving me? What is the feedback I need to be listening to? What are the messages that my heart and soul is trying to tell me? Because that's what's going on here. It's a conflict between the head and the heart. Okay, the head thinks it wants one thing, and the heart is trying to tell you something else. If we all live by a set of values. We all have priorities that we live by. We have things that are more important to us than other things. We have areas of life that are more important to us than other areas of life. For example, some people are more family orientated, and family would be very high on their values. Other people are very career orientated, or sports or fitness orientated, health orientated, or mentally inspired to learn, research, study. So we all have different areas of life that's more important to us that comes from our values, which is also the values that we have are there to support us to live out the purpose we have to live in life. So whenever we have this self-doubt, this low self-belief or self-criticism, it's essentially a mechanism to alert us that we're not living congruent with what our values are, with our purpose. We are trying to live in accordance with other values or other subordinated to other agendas rather than being run inspired from within. Generally speaking, when we have low self-belief or self-doubt or that inner criticism, it's coming from or stemming from unrealistic goals or expectations that we have set for ourselves. So when you're experiencing it, stop and ask yourself, well, where is this showing up? What area of life? What is it specifically relating to? Because I can guarantee you one thing, something that's really high on your values, something that you're really good at, something that you're absolutely inspired by, you will never have self-doubt. You will never have low self-belief, right? Whatever that is, whether that is baking a cake, whether it's being a parent, whether it's the work you do, that whatever it is that you're really inspired, that you absolutely love, that comes from a source within yourself that is so, that you have such an amount of inspiration for, that you have a lot of talent and skill for, you're not going to have self-doubt. Okay, when I'm teaching about wealth empowerment, when I'm teaching about being empowered in life, I don't have self-doubt, and I don't have low self-belief, and I don't criticize myself, because I am confident, I'm certain, I'm absolutely 100% confident and comfortable with that, with everything about that topic. But put me into a networking event, put me into a room with people I don't know, and then I have a lot of self-doubt, because I'm not comfortable with that. I don't like small talk. I'm really not comfortable with it. I become exceedingly shy, very nervous, and uncomfortable, and I criticize myself. I'm not clever enough, not good looking enough, not funny enough. All of these things, I criticize myself. I have low self-belief because it's not high on my values. I mean, it's not important to me. So instead of subordinating myself to that situation, I would be wise to say, okay, so why am I feeling this? And acknowledge that what I'm doing is not high on my values. So I have a choice. Either I learn to link it, if it's important, to my ultimate value. In other words, if being in this networking event is important to me, for my ultimate values in terms of reaching more people, to empower more people, then I link what I'm doing to my ultimate value and see how it's on the way, not in the way. But if it doesn't link, if it doesn't support my ultimate value, I have a choice. I walk away and I don't put myself in that situation. And it's the same for you. Whenever you're feeling that, it's an internal feedback mechanism. It's something to be deeply grateful for, because the more you're living and aligned and inspired by what's important to you, the more fulfilled you will be in life, the more you will live to the fullest extent of your potential. So listen to that inner voice. Listen to that moments when you're feeling that self-doubt. Don't subordinate to it. Love it. Embrace it, because it's feedback from your heart telling you that, hold on a second, I'm not living completely aligned with my values here. Or is this ultimately what I really want to be doing? Is this going to take me forward in life? Is this going to give me what it is? Is this going to take me closer to the vision that I have for my life? So rather than allowing low self-belief or self-doubt run you, how does it serve you? That's a very important question to be asking yourself. And as all the great gurus said throughout all of time, the quality of your life is dependent on the quality of questions you ask yourself. So next time you're feeling self-doubt or low self-belief, or you're criticizing yourself, you know that inner critic? Instead of subordinating yourself to it, and where it becomes, you compound it, you exponentially compound it, it becomes a bigger and bigger issue. Because by subordinating to it, we want to try and prove it wrong. We try and build up our self-belief, build up our self-doubt, build up our belief around it, and stop criticizing ourselves and try and overcome it. And all we're going to do, because we're going to try and prove ourselves right, all we're going to do is make it worse and make more drama for ourselves, increase our level of inner conflict. Instead, just take a step back and ask yourself the question, where am I living outside of my values? Where am I? What is my heart and soul telling me? Where am I not living congruent to my highest values? Is this taking me closer to the vision I have for my life? Or is it not? Is this most important to me? Because my philosophy is that we need to be spending our day on high priority actions every single day, taking us closer to the vision that we would love for our life. High priority actions. The more we take high priority actions, the more we live by high priority actions, the more inspired we will be, the more expanded we will be, the more we will be spontaneously inspired from within, the more we will hear the voice of our heart and soul and be guided by that, rather than subjugate ourselves to the agendas on outside. And that is a challenge that so many people have when they're not living congruent to their own values, what's most important to them. So stop comparing yourself to others. That's the number one thing. Right now, stop comparing yourself to others. Classic example. I mean, I'm getting a lot at the moment. I'm getting a lot of people telling me, "Oh, you're so lucky. You're up and you're leaving, and we're relocating to another country, and you're so lucky. And I would love to live like you. I would love to have the freedom. I'd love to experience the freedom that you have." That is somebody comparing their life to my life, all right? But what that person is seeing is only seeing the upside. They're not seeing the balance, right? Me upping my life and relocating to another country has as many benefits as drawbacks, has as many drawbacks as benefits. There is many challenges in that experience as there are support. But when you compare yourself to somebody else or something else or an ideology, all you're comparing it to is what you see, the fantasy of it. You're not seeing the balance of it. So stop comparing yourself to others. And at the moment with social media, it is rife. It is so seductive, isn't it? It's so seductive. It is actually challenging not to compare yourself to others, because all we are projecting on social media is the glory, is the luxury, is the pleasure, is the support. We don't see the other side of the story, and that creates an imbalance. Life is all about balance. Anything outside of balance is chaos. So that's the first thing. Stop comparing yourselves to others. Stop comparing yourself to others. Identify what is important to you. Live by your values, what's most important to you. You will then create a life for yourself where you start unlocking potential skills and gifts and talents that you have that you never had. You had no idea you had. Your life will explode. Set realistic goals. That's the second one. Set realistic goals. Set realistic goals that are 100% aligned to what's most important to you. Because let's face it, when you do that, this is not arrogant. This is not selfish. A lot of people misunderstand that. When you are setting goals 100% aligned to your purpose, what's most important to you, that's when you're going to be of greatest service to humanity, greatest service to your family, to your community, to society, to the planet. That's when you start to solve real challenges in the world. That's when you start to tackle real problems in the world. That's when you become the fullest extent of your potential to literally live and be and do what you were born for. Why? What is selfish about that? That is what you were born for. That's when you're going to be at your most magnificent and your most inspired. That's when you're going to give of yourself the most powerfully. So set realistic goals that are aligned with your values. And then the third one, and it's a big one, turn negatives into positives. We live in a world of duality. Everything is balance. Okay, everything is balanced. Anything outside of balance is lopsided, is polarized. And outside of balance is suffering, is angst, is pain, is anxiety and stress. In balance, where we see simultaneously, we simultaneously synthesize and balance whatever it is that's going on for us. When there's challenge, there's support. When there's support, there's challenge. When you turn negatives into positives, you become balanced. You're poised, you're centered, you're grounded. And in that grounded, centered space, in that space, there's love, compassion, empathy, and appreciation. And that is where you live to the fullest extent of your potential. That is where you're in your full brain. That is where you have foresight. You have objectivity. You can see the path clearly ahead of you. You can foresee challenges and navigate through them powerfully, rather than become subjugated to them, and we're overpowered even by them. People say this. A lot of people say a lot to me. You talk a lot about all these funny things. What on earth has all of that got to do with becoming financially empowered? Well, guys, it's got everything to do with being financially empowered, because what this does, do those three things, and ask yourself every single time you're feeling low self-belief, or you're doubting yourself, or you've got that inner critic going right inside of you. When you start looking at how that serves you, asking yourself the quality questions and doing those three things, what that will do is it will put you back into center. It will grow your self-worth like nothing else does. It will grow your self-worth, and it will grow your confidence and your certainty. And that's where you will be spontaneously inspired from within to literally focus on the highest priority actions in your daily life that always focus and take you towards your goals, your vision, your purpose in life. And that is when simultaneously your net worth goes up. So it's got everything to do with being financially empowered. Just think about it like that. Overcoming self-criticism, overcoming lack of self-belief, overcoming self-doubt has a direct relationship, has a direct impact on the level of net worth you have, has a direct impact on the level of financial empowerment that you have. That in itself, just that, if you just focus on that for the next 6 weeks, consciously focus on that for the next 6 weeks, your self-worth will start skyrocketing. You will be inspired. You will start becoming clear. You'll start getting more and more clarity on what is most important to you when you're consistently asking yourself the quality question, why am I experiencing this? What is this? What is this self-doubt telling me? Why am I feeling low self-belief? Why am I criticizing myself? You start asking yourself that question. Open that line of inquiry between your head and your heart. Listen to the voice. Start living more consciously to what's most important to you. If you're needing to do something that is not important to you, that is not high on your values, ask yourself the question, do you need to be doing this? Are you doing this because you're comparing yourself to someone else? Are you doing this because you are setting unrealistic goals? Are you doing this because you can only see the negative, and you're trying to prove yourself that you can do it by just continuously doing it, rather than seeing the positive, rather than seeing it as on the way? And the way in which you do that, you ask yourself this one question: is doing this going to serve me in achieving what's most important to me? And if it's yes, then link it. Identify consciously how this is going to serve what's most important to you. And if the answer is no, then don't do it. You don't need to. There's a philosophy out there, and I don't like it at all, is that we need to acknowledge our weaknesses and strengthen those weaknesses. We need to turn those weaknesses into strengths. I don't buy into that. I think we need to acknowledge our strengths and live by our strengths and appreciate our weaknesses, because they are guiding. They are feedback to what is not important to us. Our weaknesses are feedback to what's not important to us. So if you say you have a weakness, like I have a weakness on small talk, I do not do small talk. Can't do it. That's feedback from me. It's not important to me. You're making acquaintances and networking. It's not important to me. But put me in a room where people are talking about human behavior, human potential, understanding the gift of challenges. You won't shut me up for love nor money. I will just keep on going like I do now. So it's so important that they're overcoming low self-belief, mastering low self-belief, mastering self-doubt, mastering the gift of that inner critic and how it serves you has a direct impact on your financial empowerment. So please focus on that consistently, consciously over the next few weeks and watch how your life changes. Watch how you become more inspired, more confident, more certain. I swear to you, that is what's going to happen. And simultaneously, without actual conscious effort, your net worth starts to grow. It cannot but be so. So often what people ask me is this one question: what is the difference between self-esteem and self-worth? There's a massive difference. And I will talk to you about that next week. But for now, please concentrate on what I've just shared with you, because I promise you it will have a profound effect on your life. Now, if you're in the Life Accelerator plan with me right now, I'm doing a module on this, and we're going to dive really deep into how, why, and what you can do. Okay, we're going to dive really deep on this one. All right, guys, take care, and sending you lots of love, and I'll speak to you soon.